I was listening to a Sandman video that was entitled Captain Save-A-Ho, and the video was basically about this scuzzy woman who was being nothing more than a leech off of this guy who was going to college to be a doctor. Now, what happened is this woman did all kinds of things. When she got a prescription filled, she got more pills than she needed. So what would happen is she'd go and take part of those pills and sell them for a profit, and then she justified her actions to her boyfriend by saying, well, this is no different than you speeding. Not only that there, but she was, not surprisingly, always late with the rent, and that she was an opiate addict, and this led into her abusing heroin. There was a lot of other stuff that was wrong and all, but to make a long story short, the guy finally had enough and kicked her out of his apartment and out of his life. Now, the damage, of course, has already been done. Turns out he failed his bar examination, and this is what led up to him having to go and delay his future by another year, since he would now have to go and wait till next year to take the bar examination again. Well, as bad as all this seems, another video I watched was by, and I am going to butcher the guy's name, Stephen Molyneux, and his video was called What Pisses Me Off About White Guilt. Now, the thing of it is, what he was saying was, he made several good points. One of the things he was saying was, empathy is a relationship, not a commandment. For example, you go and buy an iPad off of eBay and you give the guy $200. Well, okay now, you get the box and it's empty. So it's like, well, okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to go and say, well, I'm going to give this guy $200 anyway because, that's what I agreed to do? And it's like, well, yeah, you agreed to it, but with conditions. The condition was you get what you paid for. Now, in real life, what this is basically leading up to is people do good deeds to help other people. And their quote-unquote reward should basically be they're treated like, they're doing the right thing. They're trying the best of their ability to do what needs to be done. And you get this idea that these people should be congratulated. What happens in reality is pretty much the same thing if you got a significant other who is nothing more than a drug addict, and they're just mooching off of you all the time for shelter, food, basic necessities, and whatever. You got this person laying around, and they're just really taking advantage of you hard. They're doing everything they can to make you feel terrible and horrible and always in a state of depression, and that's so they can control and manipulate you and get what they want out of you. These kind of relationships exist big time, and what I'm getting at is, just like in the relationship this other guy had, what we need to start doing to blacks and women is basically saying, well, you know what, we've tried. We've tried to make things better for you. We really have. We've done the best to our ability. And yet, here it is, like a spoiled child, you're throwing a tantrum, you're hollering and you're screaming, and you're saying, well, it's not good enough. I don't want this. I want better. I'm being mistreated and you don't love me. Well, okay, they're going to do that and all, and they're just going to resort to name-calling. Oh, you sexist pig. You damn racist. You're always so racist. Can't you see how hard us black people have got it and all? And here it is, we build up your country and blah, 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 blah. Well, anyway, here's what you do. Don't get mad. Don't get angry. Don't get upset. Just look him right in the eye and say, okay, I am racist and that means I no longer want to help you. And then just leave. That's it. Just simply say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I've tried my best, and if you're going to treat me like this horrible, terrible person, and what's in it for me? I hate to go and sound like a self-centered person, but seriously, why are you going to help someone who is just going to sit there and spew shit all over you? That would make no sense. If a random person on the street ran up to you and said that 200 years ago your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather went and did some piddly crap to whoever, and now because you're his descendant at all, that he expects retribution from you, what would you do? Would you be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go and do that because as the descendant, it's my responsibility? Or would you look at the guy like he was crazy, tell him to get lost, and call the police if the guy didn't take the hint to leave? You'd probably do the later. Well, okay, now sit and think for a moment. If this is what's going to happen to on an individual basis, then why are you acting differently when it comes to a group? I mean, we gotta help one another. I do understand this. But a little question I have to ask. In order for us to help them, shouldn't they also be required to help us? Now, what I mean by that is, not that they owe us anything, but we should be working hand in hand together. We should be helping them because it's the right thing to do, and they should be helping us because that is the right thing to do. We help one another, we support one another, and we stand each other up. It is not one side is hurling insults and abuse and name-calling. It's none of that crap. That's an abusive relationship, and that's what we're in as a society, and we really need to get out of it, because all we're doing is we're simply a codependent. We're simply allowing the bad habits of both blacks and women to continue. What we need to do is let them just hit the floor. Just let them hit rock bottom. Because when you've hit a spot where there is no one to go and blame but yourself for the situation you're in, all you got left to do is just sit around and be like, okay, no one's here to help me. I have to survive on my own. What do I do? Well, it's like this. You either change or you die. You can go and sit and say, well, that's harsh. No one should have to go and die. But yeah, right. Stuff it. Look, if you want to go and kill yourself so bad that you're pumping whatever it is into your veins or snorting whatever it is up through your nose and you want to die that bad, I got no real sympathy for you. You want to die, just die. Quit trying to drag the rest of us down with you. For the rest of those who actually want to save themselves and want to continue on living, well, it's like this. As long as people are there to extend a hand and help you, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to continue your own bad habits. Because, well, if there's no reason to change, why would you change? So, you can sit and say, well, this is all horrible, terrible, and whatever, but this, what I'm saying, is basically the hard truth. I'm trying to help women and I'm trying to help blacks. I'm trying to help them become a better person as an individual. However, that will not happen until we go and say, look, straighten up or do what you can on your own. You will sink or swim, and it will be on your own efforts. If you want help, this is what you must do in order to get it. You must act like a human being. You must quit blaming other people for your faults and errors. You actually need to shape up and make yourself into this person that is, for lack of a better term, a fully functional adult. And this may sound redundant, but adulthood has nothing to do with age. There are a lot of kids going to college, and to them, college is nothing more than adult daycare. In fact, if you go and listen to the recent events, this one girl actually got in the face of, I believe it was a dean or something, and said this place wasn't about learning. It's about being a family, and it's your job to make a safe space for us. This person comes from a rich family, and you can go and say, well, that's just classism. Don't even start that. The point is, they're sheltered, they're privileged, they got no idea what suffering is. They're far detached from reality. You want to know what suffering and all this other stuff you talk about is? Let me tell you what. You try living on about a little more than $600 a month, and you will have your answer. Do whatever you want. Spend it on drugs if you want. That's $600 a month. You can go and spend it on whatever, or you can spend it on food, electricity, housing, clothing, or whatever it is that's needed to go and get today's stuff done. And heaven help you if something breaks, because you're screwed. Still, I'm digressing. The point being, people need to start acting like adults. And right now, they're just acting like spoiled children. These groups that want to go and attack us, that are basically biting the hand that's trying to feed them and actually help them, we just need to go and let go. Just let go. They're dead weight. They're dragging us down. You cannot lift up someone who doesn't want to be lifted up. All you can do is just let them sink, and then after they've sunk to a certain point, they will make the decision to either hit bottom or to go and swim and get their head above water so they can breathe again. I've said my piece. Odio out.